Today's episode of 616 Wrestling is obviously about Hell in a Cell. You know that from the title and from the thumbnail, but my initial idea was to do something about AEW Dynasty. I watched the show this past weekend and I thought there were some very strong matches. I thought there were some excellent performances. But by the time the show ended, the only note I had taken was this. I racked my brain trying to come up with some other material, and that's when I realized, I feel like it's rare for AEW to hold a pay-per-view without Jon Moxley. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. Today I'll be handing out my first ever official review score. Now, much like this series overall, today's episode is inspired by Kyle Bossman and his show Delayed Input. It's a show that's all about the video game industry. Highly recommended. On official review score episodes of 616 Wrestling, we will take a look at a gimmick. We're going to look at what it does well, what it does poorly, its lasting legacy, and future projections. At the end of it all, I will take everything into account and issue an official review score. Now, these gimmicks can earn a score out of 10. You know, anything from 0 to 10, it will be a 100-point scale, so you can get a 4.5, you can get a 5.8, you can get a 7.1, you can get anything, all the way up to 10. I wanted to do a 100-point scale to keep things from being too complicated. I want this to be simple, you understand? And to be clear, a gimmick can be any number of things. It can be a match type, it can be a character, it can be a random object that you just can't remember the word for at the moment. So really, the possibilities for official review scores are endless. Maybe this show will never end. Or maybe you guys will hate this and I will just disappear entirely. No more shows. It's all over. To kick things off, a history lesson. What is Hell in a Cell? Hell in a Cell is a play on the steel cage match, only rather than attaching the cage to the ring with the goal sometimes being to escape, the cell expands to the outside of the ring and is sealed with a roof over the top, meaning there is no escape under any circumstances. Hell in a Cell was created to host the final chapter of a feud that was at the end of its story. Only one can be the ultimate winner. Who will trek through blood and bone to be the one who comes out on top? Hell in a Cell was a match that was never supposed to surprise you on a random episode of Monday Night Raw. You know, this was the culmination, the finish, the end, the climax. The first Cell match took place in 1997 with the follow-up not happening for an entire year. Well, I mean, I guess they kind of did do a throwaway random match on Raw right before that follow-up, so shit. When handing out an official review score, I feel it's very important to take a look at the coolest thing that has ever happened with the gimmick at hand. And it's equally important to look at what is the coolest thing that could possibly happen with the gimmick at hand. That second one really helps in the future projections department. I believe, and this is just me talking, that the coolest thing we've ever seen from Hell in a Cell is somebody getting thrown through the roof. It has only been done twice, and both times the same guy was on the receiving end. This might be because he was the only fucker actually willing to take the bump. This bump through the roof, this is a video game idea. This is some crazy shit that you would cook up with your action figures when you were a kid. You know, when you were that age, you're in the backyard, you're using your imagination. Your action figures weren't actually fighting on top of a giant air conditioning unit in the rocks behind your house. You know, they were fighting over these spinning blades. That was some scary shit from like Mortal Kombat 3. My Kenner Batman was not fighting my Hasbro Scorpion on the edge of the pool deck. No, that was an extremely slippery, precarious position over some deadly acid, and one false move would see your skin bubble off your body. What was I talking about? You might be thinking, no way, dude. Falling off the top of the cell is cooler than going through the roof. And to that, I say no. You are simply wrong. Falling off the roof is awesome, or even falling off the side. You know, when Shawn did it in 1997 in the first match, unreal. When Mankind topped it in 1998, that was the king. That was the king until he went through the roof. Nowadays, it has just been done too many times. Everybody falls off the side. Shane McMahon jumped off the top of the second cell twice. It's almost like when they put a Hell in a Cell match together these days, it's like,
all right, who's gonna go off the side? Somebody's got to do it. Who wants to do it? Oh, you both want to do it.
And Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins!
So it's decided, through the roof, coolest thing that has ever happened with Hell in a Cell. What's the coolest thing that could happen with Hell in a Cell? Going through the roof. It has already been done. Unfortunately, I think Hell in a Cell peaked very early, and that could be points off when we get to the official review score. Remember when The Undertaker literally murdered the Big Boss Man at WrestleMania? That was fucking awesome. What does Hell in a Cell do poorly? I hate to say it, but the sheer state of existence of Hell in a Cell in 2024 is a negative. If we take out those two throwaway matches that happened on Monday Night Raw, Hell in a Cell was used just 13 times across its first decade of life. The vast majority of these matches were pay-per-view main events. In the 16 years since then, we're talking about 2008 to 2024, the total number of Hell in a Cell matches has climbed to 52. 50 fucking 2! In 2021 alone, WWE hosted 5 Hell in a Cell matches. At Hell in a Cell 2020, because yes, the match became its own fucking pay-per-view event at one point, there were 3 Hell in a Cell matches in one night! Talk about overkill. If you don't get it, if you don't understand why too much of a good thing can have the appeal wear off rather quickly, let me put it to you like this. When I was 16 years old, the movie Superbad introduced me to Emma Stone. Now, I don't mean to be crude or crass, but I'm a red-blooded heterosexual man. A red-blooded heterosexual man who, upon viewing that film for the first time at 16 years old, thought, I would like to see this woman naked. Now, I'm not being rude, I'm not being nasty, I'm not devaluing her talent. Emma Stone is a supremely gifted performer. She's an Oscar winner for a reason. She also happens to be devastatingly gorgeous. When I look at Emma Stone, I don't know how words function. I think of Emma Stone and I'm like, yeah, I would absolutely clip my fingers off one by one with a pair of bolt cutters if she asked me to. Of course I would. She's the type of beautiful that just makes you want to break your teeth off on the edge of the sink, you know? You know what I mean, right? 16 years after Superbad released, I went and saw the movie Poor Things. And in this movie, Emma Stone is naked. It was awesome. It was a revelation. It changed my life. Everything I ever thought I could be, I believed I could achieve it in that moment. And then she's naked again a few minutes later. And then she's naked again. And then she's naked again for like 5 minutes straight. And then again. And then there are these gratuitous, graphic sex scenes with thrusting and gagging and eyes rolling and sweating. It was constant. It was incessant. I had wanted to see this woman naked for 20 years, and in a matter of minutes, Poor Things had taken it from my dreams have come true to, oh, look at the set design back there. I went from, oh, I could probably lift my car, like, you know, in an emergency situation, I'm pretty strong, to, she works with this director pretty often, huh? They must have good chemistry professionally. The point I'm driving at is this. Anything, no matter how brilliant, no matter how seemingly life-changing it may be, it will become ordinary in the face of overexposure. Now, make no mistake, Poor Things did this on purpose. Emma Stone is such a star. She gives such a performance, and this film is so well made that you no longer being on your deathbed over her beauty, It's this film's own little magic trick, and they do it so subtly that you don't even notice you're being tricked. WWE burying Hell in a Cell in the ground and completely killing off any and all hype surrounding it wasn't a magic trick. It was laziness. It was bad booking. It was an over-reliance on a gimmick rather than careful planning from A to Z. There is a distinct difference between these two things, and if you don't understand that, man, you ever see La La Land? Hell in a Cell's lasting legacy is and always will be The Undertaker and Mankind. Taker and Shawn, the first Cell match ever, is undeniably the better match. Taker and Lesnar, No Mercy 2002, also superior. But that King of the Ring 1998 massacre will always be the first thought. Seth and Bray Wyatt's embarrassing piece of shit disqualification, I think everyone has just moved on from that. It's not even a factor anymore. You know, Edge and Finn Balor from WrestleMania a couple years ago, that was also a piece of shit. Somehow, it was. It didn't seem like it would be on paper, but I saw it. It was a piece of shit. If WWE hadn't recently undergone some massive changes on both the creative and executive side, I would posit that Hell in a Cell was doomed. Doomed to a future of pointless and endless mediocrity, the likes of which we have been subject to for years at this point. But that's not the case. As a matter of fact, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view concept was discontinued back in 2022. You know, terrible damage was done to this gimmick throughout the years and years of pointless, shoehorned in matches, but this is a step in the right direction. Hopefully this new era of WWE can restore the Cell's original luster. And I mean, they already scraped the red paint off the fucking thing, so thank God. And now we've reached the end, so I must deliver a result. You know, such iconic beginning years, a lengthy period of complete bullshit, peaked early, wide open future. I can't let those amazing first matches erase the dog shit that has happened since, but I can't let recent happenings outscore the originals. There's so much to consider. After weighing all the facts when it comes to Hell in a Cell, the official review score is 7.1. I see a return to form in the Cell's future. You heard it here first. In the event that I do another official review score episode of 616 Wrestling, let me know what you'd like to see. Buried Alive, Kane, The Elimination Chamber, Jon Moxley,